Big 12 Radio, this is Big 12 Today. Along with James Westling, I am Ari Temkin. Taman Turner is our producer. We've also got Will Connerly learning as well. We're coming to you from the Big 12 studios here. Check out where you can find and stream Big 12 Studios, big12studios.com, Tubi, Roku, Amazon Prime Video, YouTube, plenty of other platforms. Big12studios.com is where you can find us. And, of course, always on TuneIn. Big 12 Radio on TuneIn. Games of the week this week. Baylor at Arizona. We just talked with Jason Shear from Wildcat Authority. You can hear that game as a part of the Games of the Week on Big 12 Radio. All included with TuneIn. Just download the app, and voila, you get Baylor at Arizona at 12 o'clock Central, 1 o'clock Eastern. And then BYU at Cincinnati, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern, parts of the Games of the Week on Big 12 Radio. All right, James, we've been talking about these games all week. It's time to pick them. James went 5-0 last week, so extending his lead further, 38-23 overall. I'm at 34-27 after going 3-2 last week. Stormy Warren, our buddy from the Big 615, is absent from picking this week, so we'll just skip him. But James, since you won last week, you have to pick first. And Taman, our producer, which games are we picking?
All right, guys, let's start off with Kansas at Iowa State -4.5.
Well, the picture is crystallizing for why Ari's chosen violence today. I'm tired of picking these games every week. Ari, I need you to come through this week, okay?
Wow.
Harsh.
That hurts my feelings, James. Hope you're happy.
Call me Mike O'Donnell. All right, I'm going with, we're starting with Kansas and Iowa State. Yeah, give me Kansas, all right? The only thing that scares me about this game is Iowa State's defense is much better at home. They give up about 75 fewer yards per game at Jack Trice versus on the road. But something tells me Jalen Daniels is about to go off. Did you see the highlight of him and his last-second Hail Mary against Arizona? Everybody's like, holy smokes, this guy has a cannon. He bombed that thing like 70 yards in the air and threw it out of the back of the end zone. Kansas
so
is
you're
relatively
picking Kansas
healthy.
Because on a Hail Mary he threw the ball at the back of the end zone?
No, I just wanted to note it. Okay, we haven't talked about it this week,
You're
and
right.
I think it's relevant to this conversation. Give me Kansas. Kansas is still top 30 in points per play. I like the Hawks to have a big day offensively.
Yeah, I mean, I think this comes down to, will the real Iowa State defense please stand up? Because, we saw Iowa State get shredded in the back end of their defense for 5 weeks. And did they figure some things out last week where they looked significantly better? You mentioned the home and road splits, home game. I'm not buying it from Kansas. Give me Iowa State to win and beat the Jayhawks and cover 4.5 points. I'm taking Iowa State -4.5.
All right, next one.
Ooh.
Oh, go ahead, James.
No, just a little ooh. It was just a sound effect from me. I thought for sure you'd be all over your Kansas Jayhawks in this one.
No.
No faith. Ari has no faith in Kansas in football and basketball. My goodness. All right, next one. Baylor at Arizona.
I do in soccer, by the way. Women's soccer to the Sweet 16 for the first time ever for Kansas, so I'm all in on women's soccer. What'd you say, sorry?
Huge.
Next one. Baylor at Arizona.
What's the line?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I apologize about that. Baylor at Arizona -6.5.
I like Arizona. 7-3, 4-3 in Big 12 play. Baylor's still putting up all the yards in the world. They're 10th in the country in yards per game. 464 yards per game. But they're 5-5 and they can't stop anybody. And Arizona at home, down there in the zoo, I just think Noah Fafita is going to continue to have big games against that leaky Baylor defense. I don't see any way that Baylor can keep up with what Fafita in that ground game. They thrive on takeaways, and their passing defense is top 10 in the country. Give me Arizona.
Yeah, and it feels like this number should be higher with it being a road game, with it being as bad as Baylor's defense has been this year against, who we think is the offensive MVP of the Big 12. So you've got Noah Fafita, who's, in my opinion, the offensive MVP in the Big 12, against a defense that has been extremely porous. They do score some points, but I don't think it's 6.5's enough. I think Arizona wins and cruises by more than a touchdown. Give me Arizona minus 6.5.
Next one on the list, James's Kansas State at Utah minus 17.
Man, 17 is a big number. And I went back and looked, and Kansas State has only lost by 17 or more like twice in the last 5 years.
Wow.
With that said, I just don't see any way that K-State keeps this close at all. We have seen a lifeless K-State team. They're only averaging 350 yards per game against some of the lighter defenses in the Big 12. I don't think K-State can score in this game, especially without Jace Brown at wide receiver. Scoring is going to be a problem. And K-State's been really strong in turnover creation. They're top 15 nationally in sacks and interceptions, and they're second best in the country in fumble recoveries. But a lot of that was when Tobi Osunami was healthy, when Austin Romaine was on the field, and those guys are both out. They also lose a couple guys in their secondary. I don't see Utah having any problem gashing that K-State defense. This feels like just a bloodbath. Unfortunately for my Wildcats, I am taking Utah.
Yeah, I think you said it perfectly. Like, K-State rarely loses by 17 or more, but K-State right now has been decimated by injury. It feels like they're just shutting guys down if it's close. Like, Austin Romaine was playing with a club on his hand and then decided to have hand surgery, and now he's been out for the year now. Tobi Osunsanmi, like, you start there. So you know it's coming. You know they're going to run the football, and your two best defenders against the run are not playing. Yeah, this thing's not going to be close in any way. Like, if it is, give all kinds of credit to Chris Kleiman for making it close, because just feels like this blowout city here. Utah by at least 17.
TCU at Houston minus 1.5.
-1.5. Houston favored at home. It's senior day for the Cougars. This is the most disrespectful line I've ever seen in my life. And maybe Vegas knows something that we're missing.
The looks you just got in studio, I wish you could see it, James. Everybody was just...
It is the most disrespectful line I've ever seen in my life. Houston only favored by 1.5. Red zone offense, they're 8th in the country. Red zone defense for TCU, 121st. Teams score against TCU in the red zone. Time of possession, Houston top 30 nationally. TCU 114th. It's going to be hustle against explosives. TCU is also 103rd in the country in penalties. Houston top 25. The discipline edge goes to Houston. And then you pile on all the injuries that TCU has sustained in the last couple of weeks. They have the longest, most impactful, I think, injury report in the conference this week. This screams Houston to win this game and win it by at least a touchdown. Give me the Cougs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that it's the most disrespectful line ever, but yeah, it certainly seems to be pretty disrespectful. I'll take Houston minus 1.5. This is, for me, the easiest play of the weekend. I mean, this is a team that still has something to play for against a team that's trending downward, and I think that the Houston defense will be able to turn over Josh Hoover, which has been his major problem this year. So give me Houston to cover 1.5.
All right, final one, guys. BYU minus 2.5 at Cincinnati.
BYU, Cincy, 2.5. Nippert Stadium at night is a different animal. But BYU, with everything on the line for them, I think the difference between this year's BYU team and last year's is last year we kind of saw BYU flirting with disaster this time of year. This year, I think BYU's only getting better, and that was on display the way they crushed TCU last weekend. Bear Bachmeier continues to improve as a passer. BYU's +8 in turnover margin. That's 12th in the country. Cincinnati is also a team that's 130th in the country in penalty yards per game, and you can't make those type of mistakes against a BYU team that feasts on field position and leverage rate and all those things. I think BYU goes on the road, and maybe it's close, but I do think they cover and they get the win.
Yeah, you know, what's really interesting about this game is, number one, I don't know that the road part matters here for BYU, because BYU has played really well on the road. I mean, beating Arizona, Iowa State on the road, you know, two bowl teams. They, have that win against Utah, which is basically kind of a neutral site win to a degree. But then also Colorado, East Carolina road wins too. So East Carolina at night was not an easy one. The other part, though, that stands out to me, and I don't know if this is good or bad for BYU, though their passing game seems to be improving. Cincinnati's defense has been torched by good passing attacks. Remember, Kansas, it had lost, put up 445 yards passing. Iowa State, 315 yards passing. Arizona had 294 against Cincinnati's defense. So I feel like Bachmeier trending up in the passing game will be able to exploit a major weakness for Cincinnati. Give me BYU, and I would happily take this at 5 points, to be honest. I think this is at least a touchdown spread. Give me BYU minus 2.5 in this one.
Yeah, totally agree. Let me, just to add to what you were saying about Cincinnati and who they've played and the type of games they've had. Okay, so in their 3 losses against Nebraska, Utah, and Arizona, Brendan Sorsby has completed 52% of his passes, 33% and 53. He's thrown for 69 yards, 221, and 154. He has 4 interceptions and 2 touchdowns in those 3 games. My point is, he has been really good putting up like PlayStation-type numbers against the lesser defenses on their schedule. But when they play some of the big dogs like a Nebraska defense, Arizona, and Utah, he has really struggled. It's been a night and day difference in their passing game.
Yeah, you're completely right there. And again, I think like the one thing we know about the Big 12 this year is there's not as much parity, especially amongst the top tier of the Big 12. That's what we've seen so far. So when it comes to Utah and BYU and Texas Tech, they have not struggled with teams outside of that group of 3. Utah has literally lost to BYU and Texas Tech. Now, Tech lost an Arizona State team that was way fully healthier than they are now, and BYU has the one loss to Tech. So any team outside of that grouping seems to be getting blown out by these 3 teams in BYU, Utah, and Texas Tech. And I think the big reason for that, James, is because it starts up front on both lines of scrimmage.
And I'll be really surprised if this doesn't further magnify the gap between the top 3 in the Big 12 and everybody else. Cincinnati, to me, has had a really strong year. But I think Cincinnati's in that next tier with Arizona State and Houston and that grouping of teams, whereas you've got BYU, Utah, Texas Tech in this very clear top 3, the big 3 of the Big 12. So we're on the same page. How many discrepancies did we have this week?
Just one. That would be the Kansas-Iowa State game. You've got the Jayhawks plus 4.5, and I've got the Cyclones covering 4.5 at home. Other than that,
Okay.
We're both on Arizona minus 6.5, both on Utah minus 17, both on Houston minus 1.5, and BYU minus 2.5. Any path to victory for K-State? You are so down on your Wildcats, man. It's funny. Yesterday we argued in Let's Get It On about who's more on a hot seat, Chris Kleiman or Sonny Dykes, and I said it's not even close. Feels like the temperature in Manhattan is very down right now on Chris Kleiman.
It's basketball season, Ari. It's basketball season in Manhattan, Kansas. Okay? Yes, I'm very down on the football team. This has been a really rocky year, and I don't know that I can remember a year where K-State failed this short of preseason expectations. Usually they're overachieving based off of what the fans think, based off of where they're projected to finish in the Big 12. But, everybody had K-State pegged as a major contender, and a lot of people liked them to make the Big 12 championship game. So to be 5-5 at this point in time and have a game next weekend against Colorado to just try and scrape to a bowl game, yeah, I'm real down. Now I see that there's potential for K-State to have a bounce back year next year, but this year has been it's been a mess for Kansas State.
All right, this is Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo. And a reminder that as we get closer and closer to the Big 12 Championship, that you need to be checking out all of the Big 12 Championship ticketing options available to you, including the Party Pit passes. Get your Party Pit passes ready for the John Pardee Party Pit at the Big 12 Championship game. John Pardee will be performing at halftime of the Big 12 Football Championship at 11 a.m. on December 6th, just a couple of weeks away. The game is broadcasted on ABC and, of course, being played at AT&T Stadium. John is the Big 12's first country music headliner at its football championship. He's going to be joined in the performance by the marching bands for both participating universities. There's going to be a party pit of premium experience in front of the stage with tickets available to be purchased. John's recent single, Mr. Saturday Night, has been featured in a number of Big 12 football championship spots during game broadcasts. Tickets for the 2025 Big 12 football championship, including party pit passes, available on sale exclusively through SeatGeek. Check out SeatGeek now, the exclusive ticketing partner of the Big 12, for your Big 12 football championship tickets, and get a move on it. Of course, the Big 12 championship picture will be a lot clearer following Saturday's games. Will it be decided? Multiple things have to happen. We shall see. But, of course, this weekend will go a long way. All right, this is Big 12 Today, Big 12 Radio, powered by Modelo. With James Westling, I'm Ari Tepkin. Big 12 Today on Big 12 Radio, on TuneIn, and Big 12 Studios.